If you watch the first video in this series, you'll know how to set up your tracking categories and apply them to your transactions. Now comes the next part that makes it all worthwhile, running reports that show you exactly how each department or location is performing. Hi, I'm John. In this video, part 2 of our tracking category series, I'll show you how to get real value from your tracking data by filtering and grouping your Xero reports. We'll look at 3 reports: the profit and loss, the account transactions report, and the Aged Receivables report. Okay, let's begin. We'll go to reporting, and the first report to look at is going to be the profit and loss, probably one of the most useful reports. So here's our P&L for this business, Meridian Consulting. We can see it's for the whole year, and we're making a nice profit. But this P&L is lumping everything together, all our transactions. What I'd like to see is transactions for London and Manchester, for example. So up at the top you can see compare tracking categories. So this allows you to compare department or location. Remember, those are the 2 tracking categories that I've got set up. And I've got a couple of locations set up as well, London and Manchester. So I could just look at my London location and apply, and then update. And now I've got a P&L just showing me the transactions for London for this year. I could add another location, apply, and update. And now I've got a P&L showing me London and Manchester transactions, and I've got a total column as well. Now on the left hand side you've got a quick navigation panel, so we can click to expand that, and if you've set up tracking categories you'll see them here. So I've set up department and location, so I can compare department and location. So this is a really quick way to run a simple P&L by department or location. Let's run this by department. And you'll remember from the first video, I've got a department for admin, operations and sales. So all my sales, they're coded to the sales department. And then we can see a breakdown of our admin costs between admin, operations and sales. And again, if I want to compare by location, over on the left, click compare location. And there's just a simple comparison between London and Manchester. Of course, you can change the period, maybe look at this month, this quarter, however you want. So this quick navigation panel on the left, a really useful tool. You'll see this in most of the reports that you'll look at as well. So that's our first report, the P&L. Let me show you the account transactions report, another really useful report. So when you run the account transactions report, you can search for accounts. So I could show all my accounts or a selection of accounts that I want to see. Maybe you want to see accounts that are going through your bank account. So my bank account is the current account. Choose the date range, so you could show the whole year. We'll keep this as just for June. And let's update to see what we've got. So this is showing me all bank transactions going through my bank account for the month of June. Now I don't really need to see these final 3 columns, so I'll quickly remove those. So let's remove that gross column, the running balance and VAT, just to tidy up that report. And what I'd really like to see is which department each transaction relates to. So I could add another column if I want. I could add a column for department or location. Let's add both and update. And there we can see all our bank transactions for June, and we can see specifically which department or location they relate to. And I can click in to drill into those transactions. Or you could sort by any of these. So that's how you can sort and add information for each department there. But what I find probably a little bit more useful is to group by your tracking category. So I'm going to group by location and update. Now I can see all my bank transactions for June, and they're grouped. So the first group of transactions, this is all for London, and then I can see my bank transactions for Manchester, and I've got a couple of transactions at the bottom which go to multiple departments. So for example, there's a payment there for Google Ads. Some of that was for Manchester, some of that was for London. Or maybe you want to just look at sales. So let's select sales. Again, I'll keep this grouped by location and update. And then just looking at June, you can see my London sales 3,500, my Manchester sales 15,000, looking really good. Maybe you want to see that for a different period. Let's go this quarter and update. So you're starting to see some really useful information from your reports. Now you're using tracking categories. So the account transactions report, really powerful. I recommend you save that as a favorite and get familiar with how you can manipulate that report. Super useful. The last report we're going to look at in this video is the Aged Receivables report. So I want to see how much money my customers owe me and how old those invoices are. So I'll go to All Reports. And I'll scroll down to the Payables and Receivables section. We've got an Aged Receivables detail, Aged Receivables summary. Let's have a look at the detail. So this report is dated as at the end of June 26. And I can see at the bottom we're owed 34,350 from our customers. And I can see how that's broken down. So 12,100 is from invoices dated this month. So that's in the current column. 10,150 is from invoices dated last month, which is May. And 12,100 slightly older invoices, they were dated in April. But I'd like to see how that looks if we group it by location. So I want to see what our customers from our London office and Manchester office owe us. So in this grouping by section, instead of grouping it by contact, we'll group it by location here and update. And I can see my London customers, they owe me 20,550, and I can see how that's split. So we've got some old invoices here dated back in April, so I probably need to chase those up. And further down we can see Manchester, got some older invoices, 4,800, and again we could click into those and chase those up as well. So that's how to use tracking categories to get much more meaningful information from your Xero reports, whether you're looking at overall profitability by department, drilling into individual transactions by location, or keeping an eye on outstanding invoices. Once you've got your reports dialed in, the natural next step is budgeting, setting targets for each department or location and comparing them against your actuals. And that's what we'll cover in the next video in this series.